When he got sick, he went everywhere trying to get treatment for himself, but anywhere that he would go, he would be eventually told, go back and confess the evil that you have so tried to cover in your family, because the spirit of your daughter is fighting, and anybody who tries to cover it, you will be going down. In a neighborhood, there was a young girl in Form 3. She was well known in that neighborhood and well loved because everybody could attest that she was a very, very good girl. What people couldn't fail to notice was the fact that the little girl or the young girl in Form 3 loved everything about education. But what was so fascinating about her was, in as much as she loved everything about education and spent her time reading, she would often and always, there is no class she did not repeat. So much so that she would even repeat some classes 3 times. And in that community or neighborhood, she was often seen teaching those in primary school. You would find her gather young children in class 1, class 2, and will be teaching them, helping them with their homework. And she would spend and burn the midnight candle reading, unless that when she goes to school during exams for some reason, she just can't make it. And she would often repeat, such that even kids that she taught in primary school came and met her in the same class and even left her in that class and went ahead. When the school authorities just couldn't figure out what was happening with her, they decided to start doing what you would always call, let my people go. So they pushed her through the classes, and she eventually got to Form 5. Those who lived in that neighborhood would recount, as young children, they would recount that when report cards back in the day were always mailed to the homes. So when report cards were mailed during the long-term holidays, you could hear this compound or this house, when they have received their report cards, they will be shouting, oh, and shouts of joy that they have passed, they've been promoted to the next class. But this young girl in Form 3, whenever she receives her own report card, all she would do is cry, oh, I don't fail again, oh, I don't fail again. I read, but I don't fail again. So her plight was known in the community. When the school eventually did let my people go with her and pushed her ahead, and she went to Form 5, she struggled. She had a few papers that let her go, and she decided that she was going to go to a professional school, which was a nursing school. There was an exam that was to be written, and so she left that neighborhood and traveled to the city where she was going to write that professional exam. It is said while she sat in the hall to write that exam, she started coughing. And she coughed so much that the invigilators of the exam couldn't figure out what was wrong with her as she was giving up while coughing. And they took her, and as they rushed her to the hospital, she was pronounced dead upon arrival. When the news spread out in the community just lamented, because she was well known and well loved because she was a good person. When this girl died, people just felt so bad because they were like, oh, they thought going to write this professional exam, definitely they were hoping and praying that she would make it and at least get something and be like her mates who had long gone ahead of her and left her where she is. But with this demise, there was really nothing that people could do but just lament But you could also hear the community, everybody talking of what a good person that she was. When this lady died not long, her brother got sick. He became so sick that no matter what was done to bring healing or to try to treat him, he couldn't get well. So one day, the brother confessed that he is the reason why the sister would always repeat a class. This guy, being her stepbrother, recounted that he never wanted her to go ahead of him. He never wanted her to succeed or to be known as the most important person in the family, because this girl was the firstborn and the first child to their father. So he did not want her. He saw that she was going to be loved by the father, and so he did what he did because he didn't want her having that glory in the family, according to his confession. When he confessed the thing to their father, the father went ahead and did sacrifices because the guy was so sick and the father didn't want the guy to die. The father actually covered up the confession and told the guy never to talk about it and that nobody should know about it. He then went ahead to gather children in the community and would always take them to the stream and try to do sacrifices and stuff just so as that the son will be cured or be healed and will not suffer the same demise like the sister. But it didn't work. Not long, the guy died. When the guy died, the father also fell sick. When the father fell sick, he was known to be a man who treated other people with strange ailments in the community. When he got sick, he went everywhere trying to get treatment for himself, but anywhere that he would go, he would be eventually told, go back and confess the evil that you have so tried to cover in your family, because the spirit of your daughter is fighting, and anybody who tries to cover it, you will be going down. So the man eventually came back and confessed also to what he had done by trying to cover what the evil the son had done towards the daughter. And when he confessed it to the family, not long also, he died. Now, why do I tell us this story? Let's begin with the young girl. Many a times we find people suffering. They are good people. They are suffering not because they did anything wrong. They are suffering. They might be sick. They might be going through a difficult time because people look at them and just feel that, or for some reason, they don't like them and choose to do things to hurt them. And truly, these people will suffer, whether it's get sick, suffer in whatever way, and eventually die. Many a times we feel that, or those who want to hurt them feel that when these people are dead and gone, that is the end of their story. But it's not, because when they are dead and gone, their good deeds will continue to fight for them, just like this girl's good deeds in the community and the good person that she was, it fought for her. Now, let's look at the brother. Many a times, you find people who are suffering. They are suffering, they are sick, whatever that is happening to them, they know why they are suffering. They know as to what they have done to soil their hands with blood or to bring the calamity that has befallen them, and they are suffering it. And whether they pray, whatever sacrifices they do, they know very well that it's not going to work because their hands are soiled. And the very faith that they put out will also come to them, and they will eventually pay the ultimate price, just like the people they hurt did pay. That is a good example of this brother. He paid the ultimate price for killing a sister. Now let's go to the father. When as parents or as people, we sit and we are aware that people have planned evil or have confessed to us what evil they have done. Or we sit and we know that people are planning to hurt somebody, but for some reason we try to cover it because we feel like, okay, maybe it has nothing to do with us, or it doesn't concern us, or we think in the family we feel like this father, he probably felt like, oh no, the daughter was dead and gone. A daughter is probably not that important. So he was doing sacrifices so as to keep a son, because sons, you know, in some communities and to some people means a lot, and continue to cover evil. When we cover evil, or we partake in covering evil, guess what will happen? The evil we are so covering will come back and consume us. The seed of evil. Evil is like a seed. When you plant it, know that it will grow. And when it grows, you better believe it will come for you full force. Post your comments. Keep the conversation going. And tell us a story of someone you know dished out evil and came right back to them. Remember, we live and we learn. Thanks for watching.